So we have this topic right now, very hot topic now about the issuance of the Adab cover and the life of the Barzakh. According to the Quran, we have two lives and two deaths. So two lives means when our body and soul are together. So that's the first life we have. And the second life, on the day of judgment, we will be alive again. That will be our second life. And the two deaths meaning, one death when we were not yet born. When we are in the womb of mother, when the soul came in the womb of mother, that is the first life we started. The first death was finished. And the second death, when the person will take in his soul and he will be in the grave, in the cover. And until the day of judgment, when Allah will resurrect him to life, that will be the second life. And that will be forever. Will never finish his life. So what about the azab cover or the entertainment in the grave? It is not to the body, but to the soul. Allah make everything in the pair. Make very clear, we don't have the three lives. And if the soul will come back in the earthly grave, and then it's become three lives. One life right now, one life in the grave, and one life on the day of judgment, and that's rejecting the Quran. So if any hadith can suggest you that there's three lives, and the soul will come back here on the earth, then it is against contradicting the Quran, and that hadith is not acceptable. Because any hadith is against the Quran, will not be acceptable, because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, if someone said that I said this, and if it is against the Quran, then I did not say this. So it is not correct to believe that there is a three lives. Once the person in the grave, this is called the Barzakh. Barzakh means the body is here in the grave and the soul is in another grave. And that is the soul grave, and there is mentioned in the Quran, two kinds of graves for the soul. One is Illiyun, which is meaning the elevated place, where the good souls are kept, which is from the first, above the first sky until above the seventh sky. And the Sijjin is the soul, the grave for the bad souls, which is below the first sky, probably in black hole. It's a big place also where the bad souls are kept. But the souls are not coming back. Why? Because Allah said in the Quran, Allah yatawaffal anfus hina mawtiha wallati lam tamut fi manamiha fayumsiku allati qada alayha al-maut wa yursilu al-ukhra ila ajalin musamma. Allah take away the soul for those who die and those who not die in their sleeping. And He sent back the souls which are sleeping, and He hold the soul which He decided the death. And the rest He sent back those who were sleeping. So they will wake up. So the soul of the dead person is 100% out. That is the meaning. And the soul of a person sleeping is 50% out. And where I get this 50%? I get this from the hadith. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "An-nawmu nisful maut." The sleeping is half of the death. And half of the death means 50%. So when you are sleeping, you are halfly dead because your 50% soul is coming out. What is the soul? Soul is like a force. It's like energy. It's like a current. Okay, so when 110 volt come out from the bulb become dim. Current is 230 volt, the bulb is very strong. Or if the current will go out 110 volt and it becomes 110 volt, the fan become very slow. So that is the example of the soul. When you are sleeping, 50% of your soul is out. So you are not very functional anymore. But when the morning, the Allah will send back the rest of the soul, you become 100% soul, you become 100% alive, then you become very active and powerful because the soul is back to your body. But in the case of the person died and is in the grave, his soul will never come back. Why? Because Allah said, فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَدَى عَلِيهَا الْمَوْتِ. Then Allah hold the souls which Allah decided the death. He hold it. He will not send it back. وَيُرْسِلُ الْأُخْرَى إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. And the rest of the souls who are sleeping, Allah send back their souls onto their bodies. So that's very clear. There are lots of scholars, they are misguiding that when you put in the grave, then your soul come back and you become alive. No, that's just fantasy. It's nothing to do with Quran and the hadith, the correct hadith. Soul will only return to your body on the day of judgment, when Allah will destroy all the earth and everything, even the angels will be killed. Then the water will come from the sky, it will absorb in the graves, and the bodies will start to recreate. And then Allah will give life to the angel Israfil to blow second time. Then that second time blow will bring the soul to the dead bodies, and the dead bodies will get alive, and they will be coming out from the grave. So that's very clear Aqidah, the very clear creed or the belief according to Quran and Sunnah. Because there are lots of hadiths which can be contradicting to Quran, and we are not going to accept those hadiths, because Quran is Al-Furqan, which is to judge between the right and wrong. So we always go the Quran, and we go for the hadith which is according to Quran and not contradicting with the Quran. So that is how you can explain. And of course, another thing, that Allah is Malik Yawmiddin, Allah is the owner of the Day of Judgment. So Allah is going to judge people and to punish on the Day of Judgment after the witnesses. So if Allah will send back the soul in the grave and to start to punish them physically, then why need the Day of Judgment? No need for the judgment. Of course, everything will be the real punishment, the actual punishment, the physical punishment will be on the Day of Judgment. So what is happening now? The soul is being tortured. That's called Azab-e-Qabr. And that is the punishment of grave, because the soul have a grave and the body have a grave. Why there is a grave for the soul? The same way the soul has a kafan. Kafan means the wrapping, the cloth. So the body has a cloth which is kafan, and the soul has a cloth which is kafan also, which is brought by the angels. If the good soul, angel bring the clean, good smell cloth and wrap that soul in that cloth, and wherever to go to the people say, what is a good soul and what is the good smell of that soul? And when go to the first sky, the gates open for that good soul, and then go above the first sky, the angels will still say, how good this is soul and how good the smell of that soul. And the other side, when the bad soul will come out, the angels brought them the kafan or the cloth, but dirty, smelly cloth, and they wrap that soul with that cloth. And when they bring up to the first sky, Allah said in the Quran that the gates of the sky will not be open for them. And wherever they pass that dirty soul with the dirty cloth wrapped with the bad smell, the people will say how bad this soul is. The angels will say how bad this soul is and how dirty smell of that soul is. So we need to be clean, spiritually clean, believes in one God, not to commit shirk, live and die for Allah, do everything for Allah, no showing off, no committing shirk, no committing disbelief, rather, and always to pray to Allah and be clean person, be truthful, be kind, be generous, be straightforward, be honest, not to be deceiving people, not to hurting people, not to backbite, not to jealous, or not to do the bad things. Then our soul will be clean, and the angels will bring the clean cloth for our soul. Or other side, go for the dirty life, go for the sinful life, no praying, no fasting, not practicing what Allah command, and do backbiting and fight people and jealous to people and backbite to people, then your soul will be internally dirty, even though how clean your body is, how clean your cloth is, but your internal is dirty, because you keep the hatred for the people, you keep the jealousy for the people, you keep the shirk in the heart, that you're praying for Allah, but you're showing off to the people. You give charity in your heart, it is just to showing off to the people. That these people are not going to have a clean cloth for themselves, and they will be going in the bad place which is called Sijjin, that those bad souls will keep in Sijjin, and they get the punishment to those souls. And that is called Azab-e-Qabr, to the soul, and not to the body, because body is dead, is going to become dust, and Allah will resurrect the body, and Allah will bring back the soul, and only on the Day of Judgment the souls will come out. And it's very clear in the Quran. Awwalu wa akhiru, the first life and the last life. Never Allah mentioned 3 lives in the Quran. And even there is directly 2 lives and 2 deaths mentioned in the Quran. Surah number 40, the verse number 11. قَالُوا رَبَّنَا أَمَّتْنَا سْنَتَيْنِ وَأَحْيَيْتَ سْنَتَيْنِ فَاعْتَرَفْنَا بِذُنُوبِنَا فَلَا خُرُوجٍ مِّن سَبِيلٍ. Allah said, they will say in the hellfire, "O our Lord, you give us 2 times life and 2 times death. Now we admit our sins. Is there any way to go out from the hell?" So it's very clearly in the Quran, 2 lives and 2 deaths. Okay. First death, when we were not yet born, we were scattered in the soil and water. Then our body was gathered in the womb of the mother. And at the 4 months of the pregnancy, the soul comes. That's the first life. And this life will be continued until the angel of death will come and take the soul. And that will be the end of the first life and the starting of the first death. And that's called barzakh. Barzakh means a wall between the bodily grave and the grave of the soul. And they were not meet together until ila yawm yubasun, until the day of raising of the dead, until the day of resurrection. And that is the time our second life will start. So Quran is very clear. There are some hadiths which making, and those hadiths also sometimes need to be explanation. And people are going for the literal meaning and they are misguiding other people and their followers. So be clear, we have two lives and two deaths. And we don't have any such thing that your soul will come back. Then it becomes three lives. Rather, your soul has a grave and that place is the azabi qabr for the soul. So souls are being tortured or either the souls are being entertained. Except the souls of the martyr, the shaheed who killed in the way of Allah, Allah bring their souls in paradise right away. And Allah put their souls in the big birds in paradise. Until the day of judgment, they will be going to enjoy there. So that is very, very clear. You read the Quran, read the authentic hadith. You will never be misguided by those scholars who are giving the wrong ideas and wrong beliefs. And don't die with the wrong beliefs, but die with the right belief. And the right belief you can always get from the Quran. And the hadith which is according to Quran. And not those hadiths which is contradict with the Quran. May Allah guide us. May Allah forgive.